Well, we're embracing the spirit of Pure Michigan because guess what we're talking about? Snow. Snow is going to progress through the Great Lakes region on Friday, bringing the potential for maybe even a few lightning flashes, as well as some places seeing over 4 inches of snow. Snow may also set up on the backside, bringing the potential for more accumulations in some other spots. In this video, we're going to talk about how much snow you're going to see, a low pressure system that might bring some stronger storms to portions of Wisconsin on Monday, and then also the pattern that is happening in the Pacific Ocean that could bring some pretty active weather to us over the next couple of months. March 21st, and it is 8:17. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hope everybody's doing well today. This site might look familiar to some people that are watching, but this is Cedarville University in Cedarville, Ohio. Place that's about an hour away from the tornado that we chased in Lakeview last Thursday. We're probably going to head down there come next week and investigate some of the damage as well as help with the cleanup process. We're working with Samaritan's Purse on that. And then also Winchester, Indiana is another place we'll probably investigate as well. But there was some pretty significant damage from these major tornadoes that occurred. And believe it or not, despite the fact we had active weather in this area, we're talking about snow once again. Areas to the north will see that, portions of Michigan, but we're going to dive right in and take a look at all of this that is coming our way. How exciting. We're seeing winter make its return once again. So here we have the latest model from the HRRR. Okay, so this is Thursday at about 7 p.m. You can kind of see there's snow starting to band up in this area. Again, a low pressure system is progressing its way off to the east as we go into Friday morning. You can see that snow begins to kind of that storm begins to draw in some moisture, and it begins to kind of put out some heavier snow in some spots, particularly in Wisconsin. Portions of southern Wisconsin as well will be dealing with snow. There is still some difficulties with this with forecasting this because there's going to be a very tight gradient between heavy snow accumulation and little to no snow accumulation. And interestingly enough, the models have shifted very slightly to the south. So again, places that are currently under the higher winter weather advisory to the north may not see as much snow as originally forecast, and it might actually focus even further to the south. We'll look at those snow accumulations in just a minute. But progressing forward, you can kind of see that along this frontal boundary here, there's going to be a really tight gradient of heavy snow and then next to nothing. So you can see there's kind of banding set up with this. That's really going to be the case with this system. It's going to be a rather tricky system with regards to where the snow sets up, but currently the HRRR model is putting out the snow really banding up and setting up across portions of Allegan, Berry, and Ionia counties, those regions, okay? And then areas a little bit to the north might see that banding as well. You can kind of see that the latest models do put out a little bit of a weakening during the midday, and it actually focuses some of the snow farther to the south in portions of St. Joe County. So again, tough forecast. The places that will see the heaviest snow, I still think will be focused across this region here. But there's still some questions on the table with this setup. So you can see, though, as this continues to progress eastward, that snow band does lift further off to the north, and a heavier snow band does set up over the lake. This is at about 5 p.m. Okay, so progressing it forward, we get towards 7 p.m. You can see that snow band really starting to push its way into portions of lower Michigan. There could be a little bit of thundersnow with this. I might go out and investigate the snow band, maybe get out on US 131 again like I usually do to check out this setup. But as it progresses east-southeast, we will see it finally move out of our area roughly around 1 a.m. on Saturday, completely out of Michigan, and then the rain and a little bit of snow might focus itself across portions of northern Ohio later on during that morning. But that's going to move out of the area. Might even see a few lake effect flakes make their way into western Indiana, but it's not going to last too long. There might be a bit more lake effect snow potential showing up as we get into Saturday. But as of right now, lake effect snow is not really something to be super concerned about with the setup. But again, that's kind of the setup we're going to be seeing for snow come tomorrow. So just something to watch out for. Travel impacts will probably be focused in the regions of the heaviest snow bands. So let's take a look at snow accumulation real quick on the ratio here. Again, like I said, the heaviest snow does seem to focus itself across portions of Allegan, Berry, Ionia, Kent counties. You've got Ottawa in there also. That's going to be dealing with some of that heavier snow. So this region right here could, again, shift further to the north or further to the south. There's still some questions with regards to how this setup will evolve, but it does look like it's really going to focus itself around this place. And then look, you go further to the south, near the Indiana border, an inch or less. Okay, and then as we get farther south, little to no snow accumulation in those places that saw those strong storms that we had last week. So that's what's on the table with this setup, how much snow accumulation. And again, I did mention the possibility of some thunder snow. Again, the potential for that is low, but you do take a look at what the models are showing for this and lightning flash density. You do see some shaded colors. Again, these colors indicate a very low potential, and it's likely that it's not really going to occur in any case, but you can see that there is some potential with that first wave and the second wave as we go into the overnight hours on Friday evening. So as we get into that time where it's dark, it'll be much easier to see thundersnow develop. So that's probably the time I'm going to investigate it, when it gets closer to dark. So just the thing I'm watching out for. Might go out and investigate that later tomorrow evening. And then following that, spring break for some places, some school districts, we have another setup for some storms. And this setup, again, is to be determined. Again, it's a model, so it's just something we're looking out for. But you may notice that this is going towards around Sunday. This is Sunday morning, okay? So you can kind of see that there is some snow starting to set itself up over Iowa. That progresses to the north pretty quickly. Upper Peninsula is probably going to see some decent snow from this if the model continues to uphold itself the way it's showing right now. What I'm watching for is this right here. This is at around 3 p.m. on Monday, 2 p.m. Central Time. But you can see this setup of convection right in front of the low pressure system. And if you get a sounding right close to it, there is actually a setup for a weak tornado with this setup. So again, your 3 CAPE values, your surface level CAPE is relatively higher than usual with regards to the setup that is currently here. And there's CAPE values around 300. Not really intense CAPE. Not really intense instability, but again, as those high-res models come in, we might want to just keep an eye out for this. We will have some steep lapse rates that go from the surface all the way up to the 3-kilometer level. And again, you do have that mixed layer instability that does show itself present in there. And the dew points are not really they're pretty tight with the temperatures at this point as well. Low cloud bases, a good curvature on the hodograph. So there might be a setup for a weak tornado with this as the current model stands. So again, nothing super intense being shown as of yet, but it's something I may investigate as we get closer. The rest of these models I'm going to wait to kind of say anything about, because they'll probably change as we get closer to the point. But again, just the thing to watch out for with that system. And then as we go to the longer range, we see a couple systems start to show themselves as well, start to pop up as we go towards the end of March. And I think this is going to be the common trend. We see more of these stronger storm systems make their way into the area as we get into April. April is going to be a pretty decent month for severe weather, I think, in my opinion, because of this right here. Actually, not this right here. Sorry. This right here, okay? This is the El Nino Southern Oscillation, and this image is actually something that is pulled off the Climate Prediction Center's website. You can check it out for yourself. But what you notice here, this is out in the Pacific Ocean, west of South America, west of Mexico. And believe it or not, this has an influence on our weather. You can see that this red area right here is really showing itself as temperatures, Pacific Ocean temperatures at the surface are above average. That is going to rapidly change over the next couple of months. So right here, you're going to start to see it start to weaken here as we get into the 13th of March. You're noticing that brighter shade of yellow coming in as we go towards the March timeframe. This progression is going to continue through April and all the way through June as well. There is going to be some impacts to our weather because we're shifting from an El Nino to a La Nina pattern. Okay, what does that mean? Well, the El Nino typically means a stronger jet stream, a stronger Pacific jet stream, and that Pacific jet stream usually brings us warmer, drier weather and also warmer temperatures. Now, at the same time, though, as this is weakening, what we're going to start to see is a strengthening of the polar jet stream and a weakening of the Pacific jet stream. And as that interaction takes place with this change to an ENSO neutral season, which is expected by the end of April, we are going to see some impacts to our weather because ENSO neutral seasons typically mean more severe weather for the Great Lakes region based on historical data. So that's something that we're watching out for with this, and you can kind of see what the CFS version 2 forecast shows. So this is in April, May, June, okay? The expected transition, as you can see, that temperature anomaly does start to show itself as cooler than average across portions of South America. And it just continues to grow, expand, and get larger all the way through the end of the year. The models also project very much so that we will be shifting from an El Nino to a La Nina season, okay? And during those transition years from a strong El Nino to what is likely going to be a stronger El La Nina pattern, we typically see more severe weather. I'm not saying that's going to be the case this year, but based on historical data, there is evidence to believe that there will be a more active severe weather year for us across the Great Lakes region and across the entire United States for sure. And I could especially emphasize that the hurricane season will likely see some increase with regards to the current pattern that we see as well, because La Nina seasons typically favor a more pronounced hurricane season, because El Nino typically provides the wind shear that would weaken the setup for hurricanes across the Gulf, which again, we're in the Great Lakes region. Why do we worry? Well, a hurricane did hit Ohio at one time, but that's not what we're really talking about right now. Anyways, overall, the idea is that we will see a transition in the Pacific Ocean that will have an influence on the weather pattern we have across the Great Lakes region. So that's just something to keep in mind. And as that continues to evolve, we'll continue to provide updates as well with the present weather systems that will be influenced by that. So make sure to subscribe and stay updated. We do these forecast discussions quite often, and we storm chase. We just intercepted that F3 tornado that occurred across portions of Lakeview, Ohio, Russell's Point, significant damage out there. Winchester, Indiana also had a strong tornado as well. So that was a very active day for that region. And hopefully we don't see other events like that. But regardless, we will be out investigating them and hopefully documenting them as they occur, and hopefully helping people that are in the paths of those storms. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful to you all, and I will see you all later.